welcome to 90's Horror. I am here with my co-host, Jonathan Moody.
Hey, how you doing, Madeline?
Great, how are you doing, John?
I'm doing great.
Great. And we're here to talk about 1990's movie Mirror Mirror, which was my pick.
Yeah, which I had never even heard of.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I remember running this in the video store when I was a kid, and it had the VHS cover had like a little aluminum foil type mirror on it.
hmm
You know, I love like the lenticular covers and all that stuff, so I thought it was like a cool little gimmick, and that's probably what drew me to the movie in the first place. But I remember running it way back in the day, been a fan ever since.
Yeah. I yeah. I mean, if I rented, I don't know if I would have liked this as a kid. Honestly, to be honest, I had I still, and I have a little bit better of a one, but I had a really short attention span. So I think this movie had a couple slow moments that I would have been like, yeah, I'm done. You know.
Amazed by the movies I liked when I was younger, and now I'm just like, why? But this one still holds it up for me. Even though I
Well,
think
this reminds me a little bit of The Dentist. So,
reminds you of The Dentist.
yeah, a little bit. It's not the same story, but like it's got that kind of the same kind of pacing a little bit.
Well,
What
that's
you probably don't agree, but that's what I
I
said.
agree, but I'd love to hear why it reminds you of The Dentist because that is fascinating to me. And
I don't know. It just seems like one of your picks. It feels like one of your movies. There was this. What was the other one? The Granny one?
yeah, the granny.
The Granny. I mean, they all feel like your picks. Like of your 90's. So I'm Scream. You're Granny.
I'm like low budget 90's horror
Yeah.
that underseen people haven't really heard of as much as the popular ones like Tremors or Scream or whatever.
Yeah, or yeah, Scream or Halloween, whatever, at that time. I mean, but this was great. It was creepy.
I love movies about possessed objects, so I guess I'll go into the kind of the plot outline where this girl and her mother, played by Karen Black, and girl played Megan, played by Rainbow Harvest, who was amazing, and wish we saw her in more stuff.
Did she quit acting or something?
I think so. Like her last movie, I was just looking her up earlier. I don't remember the titles of the movies, but her last movie is what, like 91, I think, or something. So I guess she quit acting. I thought she's amazing in this. And but they move into a new house in a new neighborhood, and there's a haunted mirror in there, and Megan's kind of getting bullied by some of the kids in the
Well,
school.
before then also the haunted mirror was
Yeah,
there and then they took it away and somehow it came back.
yeah, it's a haunted mirror,
Yeah. Apparently it wasn't supposed to leave that area or something. It was never supposed to leave.
which they I guess don't really explain too much, but
Well, they explain it in the letter, like the a diary, which I thought that was a cool way to add exposition, you know?
yeah, by the people from whatever.
I don't know. The ending a little bit confused me, but we'll get to that later because yeah, the diary of the people who guess was the people, yeah, whatever. Go right some more.
Uh, the Megan's she makes a best friend with the girl Nikki and everything, but Megan's kind of getting bullied and stuff, so the mirror kind of possesses her. And I love movies again about objects that possess people. This actually kind of what Bathtub Shark Attack's about. Rewatching it, I realized how much this movie inspired me, but that's beside the point.
Hmm.
So, as the mirror kind of possesses her, it gives her like kind of special powers and
Right.
changes all the people who are bullying her and help her friend out, uh president and all this stuff. And it all comes down to a crazy conclusion. And eventually Megan realizes, hey, Mirror's evil, whatever, and you got the antique lady. I can't think of her name right now. I can't even think of her real name, and I think she's fairly well known, isn't she?
Which one?
Like the one who played like the antique lady.
Yeah, so I think she was the chick from Munsters, wasn't she?
I think so, yeah. I knew she was from, and I don't think I looked it up.
So yeah, so it says Yvonne DiCarlo,
Okay.
who was I think she was Lily Munster?
You know what? I don't think
Yeah,
I made
Lily
that.
Munster. And she was Emmeline. And I'm guessing that was they never said the antique lady's name all
Yeah,
the way,
I don't.
right? But
Well, so she reads the diary and everything, kind of knows the mirror's evil, tries to stop it and everything, but obviously, Mirror has other plans.
mirror the mirror has other plans.
So, it's your basic haunted object possessing, a young girl who already has some, problems and stuff at school and to help her out and things go too far. One of those movies, which I like those types of movies.
Now, was the mirror trying to like get souls or something?
You know, I don't even know.
That's true. I don't know either.
It's
It didn't really explain that.
like a haunted mirror that's kind of possessing her and killing people and stuff,
Well,
making
it's
her.
it's killing people its own like supernatural way, right? So people are dying these like it's kind of like Final Destination before Final Destination. Think about it, you know?
Yeah,
Like the one girl, the the bitch chick, the one that was like mean to everybody and was trying to go for being president of the school or whatever. What?
he had big boobs.
And she's
Or
the only one who got naked in the movie,
yeah,
which I was really worried about because I thought they weren't going to show her tits at all. And
of
they did.
course.
They showed a little bit, but like they showed her butt. And I was like, "Oh, okay. It's okay. Now they are going to show the tits." And then it has like a close up with their not with it, and I'm like, "Oh God, so they're really not going to like show that?" And then they pull back a little bit and you can kind of see a little nipple,
Yeah, you can
which
definitely.
I mean, I'm not one guy that like I don't, there's porn out there on the internet. Like, I don't need to see nudity in these horror films. They don't make it better or worse.
Yeah,
It is a staple of that kind of time period, especially. But watching it, like, first of all, if you're gonna set up, she has like big tits first, and everybody's kind of talking about them. And then they're gonna show nudity. You're like, okay, they're gonna show them. But if you didn't show them at all, that would have been just that kind of would have been like a nasty tease for the audience, I feel like.
kind of setting it up for that throughout the whole first part of the movie. It's like, oh yeah, even like her campaign ads and stuff. It's like, oh, vote for
Hmm.
me.
Vote
Okay.
for you. And on top of that, I didn't think she had that big a rack, like she was okay. But
Yeah,
I mean, isn't it really weird to like watch movies where they're set in high school and you're like, ooh, these
it
people
is.
are supposed to be like 17 or something.
Yeah, I actually looked up how old Rainbow Harvest was. She was like mid-20s, I think. I
And
don't
I
know
bet
how old.
all the girls and everything, which is fine because you watch it and you're like, oh, I don't feel so creepy. They're probably in their 20s, you
Yeah,
know?
I don't know how old the rich bitch was.
Yeah, but like seriously though, like if they were even 18, that's just a little gross to me. Like they were 17 like maybe a few months ago, you know?
I definitely agree. That's probably like why they cast.
Yeah, why they cast 20-something-year-olds. I mean, they try to say it's because they've had more life experience. They can remember being a teenager and everything, but like, who remembers being a teenager more than actual teenagers?
Yeah,
So when they do nudity, it's because they want the person 20-something years old so that they can not feel creepy about it.
yeah.
And they, I mean, they can't show nudity for a 17-year-old unless they're Tracy Lords.
I did not
You
know
didn't
about
know that? Like Tracy Lords was in, had said she was older than she was when she got into porn. She was actually, I think, 16.
I did not know that.
I think it was Tracy Lords.
It probably
I
well,
could I could be totally wrong, and I don't think she might have she was she naked? Well, I know she's been naked and stuff, but all right. Anyway, sorry,
yeah.
Tracy Lords, if I got that wrong.
But yeah, I think the cast did a great job and everything. And I mean, there's no one in this movie I'm like, oh, that's not a high schooler. They all kind of feel like high schoolers. I think the
All the
acting
guys look the same, didn't they?
they do. What's his name? Ron and I forget the other guy's name who the bitch is dating. They look very similar. The
Ron
guy
and Jeff.
Ron and Jeff, that's what it is. Jeff. And
Yeah,
Ron's yes. He's
and Ron,
like kind of asshole, but he's like on the border of asshole and funny. And I
yeah.
don't know character a lot.
Was he the one that was he the one that the I'm gonna look up these names. Um Charlene. That was the girl with the big
I couldn't
titties.
think.
So was Ron the one dating Charlene or was he dating Nikki?
Yeah, Ron was dating Nikki.
Okay. And then there was Jeff who who was dating Charlene and was an asshole too because, I guess he got like sort of possessed in a way to like fall in love with her or whatever and stuff. And
He like asked the mirror or whatever. Kind of wished it.
she kind of wished it, yeah. And then he's just like at one point he's getting his dick sucked. We're going to, and he's like, no. I'm like, oh my God, he really must be possessed because like what guy turns down a blowjob? Period. Just
And
my
then when
person.
like, no, I gotta go. So
Get out of my car. I'm like, damn. And he had to go to her house.
he's like, get out.
Yeah. And then it doesn't even work out when he's with her.
Nope.
I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I thought like his dick was like going toward her or something. It was only wanted Megan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess spell or whatever didn't work that long. He's just confused and caught in between.
Yeah,
And
very
not one
confused.
saying we, which I don't even think is that weird until a bit later when she's like, "Oh, we can't let him leave, can we?" Because she's like talking to the mirror.
Yeah. She she was being like, because like she knew what was going on,
Yeah.
and yet she wasn't, and maybe she was a little bit possessed by the mirror, you know.
Oh,
Yeah. Now you said you like movies with like the antique stuff. So does that mean, with the like possessed stuff, does that mean you liked Friday the 13th the series?
yeah. You know what? I need to watch it more. I have only seen a few episodes here and there, and the main episode I remember is when my dad showed me where it was like a tattoo gun, whatever. What do you call those? Tattoo gun? I don't know.
Tattoo guns?
So they are called that. And like whenever he would tattoo people, like the tattoos would come alive. I think I remember a hand coming out of his chest or something. I need to watch that show more. I haven't watched much.
Yeah. The one that sticks out in my mind is the dollhouse. It's like
Yeah.
becomes like a big ass dollhouse, and they actually have to go inside, and and all this, which is pretty cool. But it's been a while since I've seen that show too. I need to I need to see if I can get it online. I know my friend had like copies of it on, like on the internet and everything and down ripped it. But I don't want that. I want, I
I
want an
don't know if
actual DVD.
they released it on DVD, but I don't
I
know if
think so.
it's bringing over.
I could be wrong. I think at least in Canada they did. Hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna find it 2 seconds from eBay. Um, the series. Yeah, this and the series. The only thing I was really mad about was like it had nothing to do with the movies, you know?
Yeah, it
Okay,
was.
you can get the full box set of it for like $30.
Oh, that's cheap as shit.
Yeah, and it's the complete series too. It's not like just season one,
I love it.
so
I don't know how many seasons it was.
I think they had like two or three.
Yeah,
So like I saw that you can get like the first season for like $10 plus like $3 shipping. And I'm like, why would I want to like? Because that sounds like it would be like there would be three. Like it would just be easier to get a box set, of all of them for probably the same amount that you're gonna get. What was that?
get them all
No,
for cheaper. I mean, why pay $10 for one season? Get all three for 30 or what?
yeah, there you go. I think it's three. If it's the two, it's still fine. The $30 is still well worth it. So let's see. And so there's some I don't know, like so the Nikki character, the friend, what did you think of her?
I like Nikki. I think she's a good person, and she genuinely likes Megan.
Until
Her
she
boy
realizes Megan's cuckoo.
that she.
Hmm?
What was that?
Oh, God, we're like for some reason it's messing up our audio. So like whenever you speak and share something, and if I'm speaking at the same time, we can't hear each other. No, I was saying like she liked her until she was cuckoo.
Yeah, I mean, I still like. I mean, I like Nikki. I think she's a good character, and I think she does care about Megan. But yeah, after things go at the end, you can tell she still cares about her and everything. I mean,
Yeah, well, she just doesn't know what's going on, and when she finds out, that what's going on, she wants to help Megan so they can stop it, basically. And then bad stuff happens. Um, what did you think about the ending?
I like the ending. I like how it kind of ends. Nikki wishes everything could go back or whatever, and it kind of goes back to the beginning of the movie. I kind of like how that, kind of wraps around in the beginning. I think that's kind of cool.
What
I don't know how much.
that didn't make any sense, did it?
No, not really, but I think it's cool.
It didn't make any sense. It was like so the beginning of the movie, the opening of the movie is this girl killing another girl, or whatever. And I thought that was the girl who owned the estate or whatever. But no, it like flashes to like, you know, years later and it's just they're trying to get rid of the mirror in the house. So, and it was I guess somebody else's estate. So somebody it was
Knows who owned these years?
what was
Was
that?
it who owned that place between all these years? Was it just sitting there?
No, because remember they went into they said it was somebody's estate, right? I forgot whose estate it was, but they said it belonged to somebody's estate, and then they were getting rid of everything that was still in that house, you know?
Like a
And
random or in that room or whatever.
yeah, including the diary and then the mirror and stuff. And the mirror was like we said was supposed to go and then came back. And so there's that great scene I love where uh the realtor lady comes to the house, or whatever, that says, I need the mirror. And the girl's like, no, you can't have it. It's mine now. She says it's mine now. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if that really works. Like, you know, you know what? They could have got the cops to go get it. That would have been an interesting thing because what could the cops have done? You know,
Nothing. For
right?
sure.
The cops would have gotten killed and stuff. So like literally nobody could take that thing out of there. Um, you do know what I hate the most in this movie though, right?
No, the dog dies. As I was
Both
rewatching,
dogs
oh
die.
yeah, I forgot. And I'm like, oh no, John's gonna hate this. Oops.
Both dogs. I was like, oh
Yeah,
no, come on.
dog dies. Is that my trademark? Oops.
And one of the dogs pisses on the mirror, and I love that.
I
Like
love that.
asshole mirror, you know. But I was like, oh man, don't piss on that. You're gonna die now. And then the other one just dies because he's nosy, you know. Kept barking, and man, I was like, oh. And did you see how nonchalant the lady is? I mean, I'm sorry if my dog is missing, has not, is just out. Like, oh, he just ran away. I'd be out there fucking looking, you know?
But she's really upset when her one dog dies and she puts on the counter.
Yeah. But she found that dog like that, like murdered like that, or dead like that. And what'd you think of Bill Sanderson?
Great. He's funny. His character's great.
I he and Bill Sadler are my two favorite Bills out there, you know? William Sadler, William Sanderson, just both of them have William S's. If they could both be in a movie together, I would die, you know? Actually, I would make that movie. I'm gonna see what I can do. I'll make
Now,
that movie.
whenever
Uh,
his character like eating dinner and he's like having whatever visions, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got Vietnam flashback."
so random.
That scene makes me laugh so hard.
It's
Like
funny, but it's so random because he's like he has those visions and then he has those flashbacks and he's like, I gotta go.
it's so funny.
I don't want to have another one. And Karen Black is so trying to get laid.
I know.
Like
Karen
in
Black
front of her daughter too. That's just so awkward.
don't give two fucks.
I know. Well, her daughter has sex like in the room next to her. And I'm like, really? You're just gonna like bring this guy into your house and
Yeah,
fuck him?
exactly.
Hmm. I don't know what her mom would say to that, but her mom sort of finds out because her mom hears that scream,
Huh?
right? Remember the
Yeah.
mom hears the scream and runs in, and then
Yeah.
it's like, what's going on? And
Body disappear or whatever.
yeah, how convenient that this mirror can just make things just disappear whenever it wants to. Like it's doing the nosebleed part, which I loved, you
I
know.
love and I love that scene.
Uh, it does a nosebleed scene, and then and while it's doing that, the mirror itself is bleeding, which I thought was pretty cool. So I was like, oh, so it's gonna do that for each like thing that it does? Nope, you never see
Now,
something like that again.
but it's so
It was cool the first time. Yeah, they should have kept with that. Like every time it's
funny.
doing something, you see like if it's killing somebody with water, you see kind of water dripping from it or whatever. But I guess they
That,
couldn't. What?
that would have been a good idea, but
Maybe for Mirror Mirror the remake, because no
three
the requel.
sequels. Three sequels.
Well, there are sequels, right? But I've heard there's sort of like the second one sort of is a sequel to the first one, but the third one kind of goes off the rails from what I've understood.
Based almost a porno with Billy Drago.
And Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo's in part two.
Mm. Oh,
It
is he in
was
part two?
I like
Uh,
part. I think it's underrated.
Okay, and then was it yeah, so anybody big in it, part four?
Now,
No. See, you know what that sort of reminds me of uh Cry in the Wild series. You ever watch those? What?
now I haven't.
Like the White Wolves, series. So in the White Wolves series, what?
Watched one of them when I was in school, but I think we might have talked about it before.
Yeah. So in part one, there's Jared Rushton, who's the little kid from Big that was like Tom Hanks's friend, and everything. Then in part two, it's the kid who was the like small Tom Hanks and Mark Paul Gosselaar and fucking Amy Dolenz and Matt McCoy. It's got a huge cast of like people that right? Then the third one had like Jesse from Saved by the Bell. So I continued the Saved by the Bell thing and I had a bunch of other people that you know what I mean, from things.
Yeah.
But then part four, the fourth one, had like Mercedes McNabb and some other guy that I've never heard. So I had like one star you heard of. And so you could tell by the fourth one they were like running out of money, you know, and stuff, and it got lower budget. I feel like that probably happened with part four. They can probably afford huge stars by the time they make a fourth movie.
And Mark Ruffalo in part two, he was also in The Dentist.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that today because Dustin Hubbard told him I watched Mirror Mirror and he said the Mark Ruffalo was in it. I was like, oh, and Madeline Deering picked a movie that had a series with Mark Ruffalo in it. Jeez, what a shocker. I mean, they're not similar, like in the same sense at all. Like they're not the same. They don't even have the same kind of humor or anything in it. But, I just, for some reason, these movies just have that feel of like something that you said you got it from the video store. You said that about the granny and you said that about the dentist. These are your video store movies that you just picked. Yeah. Different from what I pick. Yeah, I would pick Hellraiser, or I'd pick, well, not for 90's, but I'd pick Scream. I'd pick all these other things that I have picked. They're a little bit more popular, a little bit more. Yours is the sort of cult stuff that people still
Yeah,
know.
I want to stuff more to light. Hopefully people will check them out.
Well, I feel like it's good to have that in the 90's horror stuff because I picked the more popular ones that more people probably would have seen,
Yeah.
and you picked the ones that the cult people have seen. So the popular people can watch you listen to the cult ones and be like, oh, that sounds like an interesting movie. And the cult ones can be like, oh yeah, I know those popular, right? So trying to think. So what else what else was crazy in this movie? Like I
Talk
think
about Ron making a sandwich, being like, Mayo, Mayo. Because that part cracks me the fuck up every time.
I'm trying to remember
Like,
that scene.
my God. Right before Ron dies, he's making a sandwich in the kitchen. And he's like acting like it's a big like football game or something. He's like, oh yeah, putting on, the balloon whatever, salami and whatever. And then he's like, oh, Mayo, Mayo. The crowd says Mayo. And it's funny as hell.
I gotta
So
rewatch that because I don't know if that was on my Tubi. Did
it
you
was on
watch the Tubi?
because I don't know. I put my Blu-ray, and I have a beautiful Blu-ray restoration in widescreen. Of course, misplaced it. And Tubi looks like the VHS, which is kind of cool. It's like
Yeah,
not
it does feel like VHS, doesn't it?
Code Red or Dark Force Entertainment put out a nice Blu-ray of 1 and 2.
Huh? Wait, why didn't they do the whole four? Is there a rights issue?
I honestly don't know, but I think 3 should just stay buried.
Why is everybody like so like I gotta watch three because all four of them are on Tubi,
Oh,
but
uh,
like I gotta watch three, two and three, but like I want to watch three because everybody's like saying because like Michael McGlynn when I did horror film lovers. I told him after the podcast, oh yeah, I gotta watch this Mirror Mirror. He goes, oh, I remember Mirror Mirror. I loved one and two, but three was so weird and out there, different than the other two that I was just like, I don't want to watch this. And I never watched four because of it. And it's like, oh,
Four
okay.
isn't that bad, but it's not great.
So
Three is
the movies kind of declined after the first
yeah,
two.
yeah, it declined,
Wait,
unfortunately.
would you say this is like the Jaws movies or something? Like, was
First,
part
I mean,
four like Jaws the Revenge or
I don't insult Jaws and Revenge.
hey, Jaws the Revenge has one of the greatest scenes where somebody gets there where was it the one of the Brodies, it's not Michael or it's not Sean Brody gets his arm bit off by a shark
That's
and
wonderful.
starts screaming after he realizes his arm is off, not before.
Again,
Yeah.
I love Jaws the Revenge. I do not like Mirror Mirror 3.
You do
Four is
not like which one?
Mirror Mirror 3. I
Oh,
hate
okay.
that. Four is a I love Jaws 3 and I love Jaws the Revenge. So.
Jaws 3 was fun. And Jaws Revenge had moments, but it's terrible. Come on. It's bad.
I
You know.
mean, it's ridiculous fun.
Now Jaws 2 just got released on 4K. And so I'm wondering if they're gonna release part four, 3 and 4. Like I don't understand why you would even put 2 out there, even though it's still a good movie, but why
Yeah.
you would put 2 on 4K and not 3 and 4.
Eventually, they probably.
I guess they're gonna see how well 2 does, and then, and then 3, and then see how well 3 does, and then be 4. But Shaw's 4 and 4K, that would be worth it.
Oh, amazing.
And if Jaws 3 had the glasses, no, that would be worth it.
I mean, I have a 3D TV, so I've watched Jaws. The only way to watch Jaws 3.
Yeah, with the shark coming through, breaking the glass and going,
Slowly, and it's like.
exactly. Everything is so slow motion and it's just But anyway, we're not here to, well, we might be here to talk about, actually we can't because Jaws the Revenge was 1987, I think. So it
Yeah,
still died in the 80s. It didn't make it to the 90's, which I'm surprised. Like, I know Jaws the Revenge was not that good, but according to like a lot of people don't like that movie. Now, a lot of people do, like Madeline, but a lot of people don't.
the shark movie.
All right, you love your shark movies. Um, in fact, for 80's horror, Rebecca and I will be talking about Blades, which is Jaws with the lawnmower.
The Lawnmower. That's a great movie. It's been so many years since I've seen it, but
I just watched it yesterday because or wait, is it yesterday or the day before? We were actually supposed to do it yesterday, but unfortunately, um, allergies happened for Rebecca and she needs to do it next week. So we're doing it next Wednesday. And so we'll be talking about Blades. I'm excited because,
that'll be
that's
fun.
yeah, it's a silly movie. But it was meant to be Jaws, like literally scene for scene, just with everything changed. And and what was cool about Mirror Mirror was like when you think of Mirror Mirror, you think of that thing that people say, like in Cinderella, I think it was, or Snow White. One of
Yeah,
those, one of the fairy tales, like Mirror Mirror on the wall,
yeah.
and this was not on a wall.
No,
Could have been cool if it were on a wall, you know.
I love Mirror, and I don't
Did
know why. Maybe it's
did
just
you
because
want the mirror?
I would love the Mirror. I would love a replica of the Mirror. I just made a post about that on Facebook because I love the look of the Mirror. I think it's really cool and unique.
Could you
And
buy that? Could you buy that mirror? Like a replica of that?
I don't know where the hell you would even look.
Like, yeah, how do you even describe it into Google to find out if there is one for sale?
Mirror, Mirror, 1990 Mirror, and nothing will come up.
It was just the posters for Mirror Mirror would pop up, I think,
Probably.
because it'll just get confused. Be like, Wait, you want the Mirror Mirror movie, right? Not the Mirror of the Mirror Mirror.
Well, I think they need to let me do a sequel, and then I'll have a replica made, and then I'll keep it there.
And then you'll just keep it. How do you get the rights to that?
I don't know. God, his name's escaping me. The producer of it, all of them. He produced Jimmy Lufton.
Jimmy
I think
what?
Jimmy Lufton. I think that's his name. He also did the music, and I love the score to this movie. Like they put this score on vinyl, wouldn't need it. I love the music in this movie.
Vinyl's coming back in a big way.
I know. TerrorVision's always releasing new vinyls. Release Mirror Mirror. Fine. But no,
Uh,
I think this is a great score. Jimmy Lufton, I think, probably owns the rights because I think it was his son or daughter, I don't remember who directed the fourth one, which again wasn't great. But at least they kept that negative.
So here's funny thing, connection. Jimmy Lifton and I think that's his name. This is what it says on here. James wait. James E. Lifton. Um he produced this movie, but he also produced Blood Money, which stars Tracy Lords.
Oh shit.
So everything goes back, like full circle. Um, but yeah, he did all four Mirror Mirrors, and yeah, Paulette Victor Lifton. So it was a female. Guess it was his daughter
Yeah.
directed the fourth one, and but he's a big producer. Like, well, not really, but he's produced a lot of indie kind of stuff. Is he still around? Can you?
I don't know.
I mean, he's alive. It doesn't say he died. Um,
Yeah. I don't know, revival or something.
Let me find out if we can find him on LinkedIn. So this is how I do it. I do my stalker mode where I
Like on that.
find these people. Then, there was another movie. I'm not going to say what because I don't want people trying to find it and steal it from me. But I wanted the rights to a certain movie, so I contacted the producer of it, right? Or no, it was the director, one of them. And I contacted the lady and she said, and I found her. She was now like a therapist, right?
Oh well.
So I went to her website, went to her email, because so you can ask her a question.
Yeah.
So I asked her, are you the lady who produced this movie, blah blah blah. I was just wondering if you know who had the rights to this series, blah, blah, blah. And she wrote me back. And she said, "Thank you very much, Jonathan. You have a lot of ingenuity, or whatever, to for doing this. I do not own the rights. The rights are owned by this person. So I would contact them if you want. But good luck, and I hope you're able to to get the rights, or whatever.
Awesome.
Yeah, got her blessing because I think she was like I want to say she was a director of like something, or producer. So I just asked her, but you have to do it, man. Like, what's the worst that can happen? They say no, or
Yeah,
they tell
exactly.
you how much you need, and then that's when you go and find investors who can help you raise that money so you can make the movie, you know, right? I mean,
True.
I understand, like, with you, Madeline, you've done Spirit Animal and you're doing Bathtub Shark Attack and you're doing all these cool, like, little indie projects, but you wanted to go, I think you want to go bigger, right? You know,
Bigger here and there.
right. And if you could get the rights to Mirror Mirror, you can make a pretty cool,
Yeah, that would be
even
awesome.
indie, you can make it. If you could make it cool, like indie wise, I mean, all you'd have to do is have the mirror and you could do all these cool special effects. You could have indie people attached to it, and then you could make just a $50,000 mirror, and it would still be just as good as the stuff that's being made these days or back then, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, this movie probably didn't have a huge budget.
I don't think so. I mean,
No,
they had to
I mean,
pay Karen Black. She was the big star. But you get a big star like um God, I'm blanking, Brink Stevens or something. And then you've got your new mama, or whatever,
yeah,
or somebody, Barbara Crampton. She'd be great.
I'd love to work with Barbara Crampton.
Who wouldn't?
Exactly. She's
Idiots. Idiots are the only people who wouldn't want to work with Barbara Crampton
that.
because Barbara Crampton is a gem. Um, and she wants to, like, because she retired for a little bit, or whatever. Now she's back out of retirement, and I've seen some posts from her, and she's like, when this strike is over, she's diving back in. Like she's bored right now. She wants to get back into making films, and unfortunately she's SAG, so she can't work on these indie projects unless you had a lot. Well, actually, even a lot of people won't work on anything right now due to this SAG strike, which hopefully by the time this video or this audio comes out, it'll be over.
Let's
Let's
hope.
pray. Yeah, let's pray that that happens because it's been way too long already. And
Crazy.
everybody's gonna be mad in the fall when no shows are gonna be out. It's gonna be nothing but reruns. So, um, I'm gonna miss my Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I watch that like every freaking Friday when it comes on Peacock. You know what?
We got into it.
Yep. So, let's okay, so we didn't even really mention much about Karen Black and her character too much, did we?
Funny.
She was great. I wanted her in more stuff.
What?
I wanted her in more stuff and more
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah, she's not in it a ton. Like, she's in it consistently, but and throughout the movie until her demise. Spoiler alert. But she's not in it a whole lot. But I do like her character. And it's like, Megan's mother, who's just already going through a lot and whatever, and can kind of probably be kind of relatable to people. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know, town and having a rough time, whatever. I think she's a good character.
I do too. Oh, and I forgot, Ned Ryerson is in this movie.
Who's that?
Ned Ryerson from Groundhog Day.
Oh shit! I've seen Groundhog Day, but I can't think of who he is. And
So
didn't
he
think
was an obnoxious, well, somewhat obnoxious guy well, Phil was obnoxious, Bill Murray's character, but Bill Murray's walking out and he's like, Phil Connors? He's like, yes. And he's like, Ned Ryerson. We knew each other and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I don't, I don't remember you. So each time he sees him, he says, Ned Ryerson, until one day he just like punches him.
I
Others,
do. Yeah.
yeah. Um, so that he was great. He was in so Steven Tobolowsky, I think is that how you say his name. He was in stuff like I want to say he was in like Dexter and other shows like that. No, he was in Californication and just a bunch of different, TV shows. And so whenever I see him pop up, and he was the teacher in this movie,
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
the kind of asshole teacher who's like,
I love the
yeah,
asshole for some reason. I think he's funny.
he
And
was funny, but he was kind of a dick.
yeah, I hope this is the start of a new trend.
Everybody being all get punk, I guess, and they were doing that to make fun of her, but like, did it
Yeah,
really?
fine. Whatever. Like, it's a good style. Whatever.
I know, like, did it really make fun of her? I thought everybody looked cool. Like,
I know. I thought.
I don't know, like, I like remember they were all talking together. Oh, this is gonna be so funny, blah blah blah. And then they do it, and I'm like, what was really funny about it? It just was sort of like, I don't know, it was cute. Everybody's all punk looking, and some of them look gorgeous as punk, you know. So I was like, I like the punk look, you know.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, the first time I saw what like well earlier today, when I first saw it, I saw where I you see the mom walk in, she's looking around the house and everything, and she says, Megan, right? And you see Megan, and I was like, is that a girl who's trying to be Winona Ryder and
That's exactly how it feels, actually.
Beetlejuice, right? Like
100.
I was like, where's the father, or whatever, Jeffrey Jones's character. I think it was Jeffrey Jones's character, right?
Yeah.
The father. But then you see William Sanderson, and he kind of has this, well, he has this look to him, like, with the little ponytail thing going or whatever, his hair like that. I was like, oh, so that's where you know, that was before Jeffrey Jones was eek. He's like canceled, right?
No, I don't actually. So I haven't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
followed.
he's a child molester. He got in jail, prison for that. Yeah, and so he'll never work in Hollywood probably ever again.
Good.
Yeah. And that's why if you look at the new Beetlejuice 2 cast, it's not in it. So,
And
but Catherine O'Hara is back, so that'll be great.
yeah, I can't believe they're going through with it. Finally.
All right, finally. We've all been waiting for it, and we all thought it was just never gonna happen again. Like, because Tim Burton just keeps doing other shit and
Yeah.
whatever, and it just never happened. But now they're finally doing it because they found their girl. They found Jenna Ortega, and she is the next Lydia, basically, But I mean, and I saw the some of the first pilot of the Addams Family show Wednesday. I wasn't all that into it,
But I was never that into Adam's family, so
really.
that much. I'm not even like a huge Tim Burton fan of him, like his early stuff, whatever, Beetlejuice, Batman, whatever. I'm just not a huge fan of his, so I'm just kind of.
I liked his early stuff. Beetlejuice, Batman, but Ed Wood is my favorite movie of all time. So like, he may not be my favorite director of all time, but that movie is by far my favorite movie. You know, but that's because of Johnny Depp and the whole cast. Period. You know.
Like he's a good director, but he hasn't made anything I really enjoyed or really wanted to watch in many years. So,
Yeah.
no offense, I he has a lot of fans who still enjoy his stuff. He's just not my
Not your cup
favorite.
of tea.
Exactly.
But yeah, he's somebody's cup of tea because he keeps making movies. So, uh, but he does stuff like weird shit, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then
Didn't
um,
do
what?
it didn't do anything for me, and the Alice in Wonderland remake didn't do anything for me. I don't even know if I really watched the whole thing, honestly.
What is this obsession with everybody having big heads?
I don't know.
Like you look at Alice in Wonderland, everybody had the big fucking head and shit and stuff, and then Sleepy Hollow, fucking I always remember Johnny Depp having a big head and that and everything, and going, "Wow, this looks weird."
I don't.
You don't want to dive into the Tim Burton psyche of why he likes people having big heads. That's a
I do.
Though I will say one of my other favorite movies of his, A Big Fish, and that's a really good one. What?
Yeah, I've never seen it, so maybe I should watch that.
Yeah, it is good, but it doesn't feel like the typical Tim Burton. I think that's what I liked about it because I think I was so tired of like at that time like Mars Attacks and all of the typical gothic,
Like
Tim
Mars, uh,
Mars Attacks is okay, but it's not as funny as I was hoping it would be. I don't know. You know, me, I'm a little picky sometimes with my comedies. We know this from our It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia things because
yeah,
you loved this last season a little bit more than I did, and
yeah,
I was not that into it because I find things like, oh, we have a bathroom. Oh, we have another bedroom I didn't know about. Oh my God. I'm like,
Absolutely.
really? Like Frank is that dumb that he wouldn't just walk into a room and go, what is this room? Hmm?
It's Frank. What more do you need to say?
I don't know. He was, but
It's
I didn't even see what the point of it was, like, other than a joke, because they don't ever really use it again. Like, we don't see it again.
well, I mean that's true, but it was
If you're
oh
gonna do that, if you're gonna introduce something like that, like introduce it for the rest of the series, have them be meeting and talking in Frank's new bedroom, or something.
no, and I can agree with that. They could have ran with it a little bit, but
Yeah, otherwise it's just like this is just a throwaway gag that makes it funny because now Charlie has to walk. So that's the only funny bit in that. So he has to walk further to get to the door, to open it for people, And then he has to do it more than once. And that's the funny bit, is like he just keeps getting annoyed by this, you know? So anyway, I don't know. Once again, I'm picky with comedies. You and I are different on comedies, I can tell. Our humor is a little bit different, which is fine. And this movie had some comedy to it a little bit, but really it was definitely more horror driven.
sure. Yeah, it's more of a serious take. I don't think there was too much comedy in here.
Yeah, there might have been like one or two like little bits, but really not
Man,
much. Yeah. So I was like I mean I like this a lot. I want to watch. I think I would like it if I did buy the Blu-ray at some point. You said Code Red released
really
it. Code Red is owned by Kino Lorber, so I love them. So,
didn't
but
know that.
yeah,
I didn't know Code Red was owned by Kino Lover for some reason.
yeah, I found that out a while back because I was doing sales, you know. They had like Kino Lorber sale, and I saw The Strangeness on there, which I've never watched. I still haven't seen it yet. I'm going to because I'm probably gonna review it for if I don't review it for 80s horror, I'll probably review it for horror film lovers, like just a quick review thing. Um but I've been wanting to watch that because it sounds kind of fun. Have you heard of that, The Strangeness?
I don't think I have.
John Ward recommended it to me, so I was like, yeah, I'll check it out and stuff. And it was from Code Red, and I got it on the Kino sale. Like it was like $10 or something on the Kino sale. So I was like, good deal. So I bought it, and I think it was going out of print too or something. So I bought it. It might even be less than $10. It was something like that. And I got it, and it's like it came to me, and I thought it was a Kino release, right? Comes to me and it's Code Red, and I'm like, that's weird. But then I looked it up and found out that Code Red and Kino are basically Code Red is the subsidiary or whatever of Kino because they I think they specialize more horror, like low budget horror stuff that, you know, which would make sense if they do the mirror, and they do
Exactly. They did Mirror Mirror 1 and 2, like I said, and I
and you
think
said
they
that's
did.
a double feature?
Oh no, they're separate Blu-rays.
Oh, okay. So you just buy Mirror 1 and 2. Interesting. Let me see how much it costs on to let everybody know on the Kino Lorber site if it's even on there, because I don't know why it wouldn't if it. Um, mirror, mirror. Crap. They don't. Yeah, they don't have it listed on here, so it's not on the Kino Lorber. That's weird. So where'd you get it? Do you remember?
I got the first one at a local store, it's in Pittsburgh, and I got the second one off Amazon.
Mirror, Blu-ray. Let's see. Of course, it's got the mirror, Disney mirror or whatever.
Of course, it
The Julia Roberts one. It's weird. It's not pulling up anything on eBay. I'll have to look into it and find out, but I'm sure you guys can find it if you Google Mirror Mirror and
Yeah.
look it up and find it on Blu-ray. I think I would definitely want to check it out. Does that have good special features?
Yeah, I remember watching some of the special features because I know it had interviews with Jimmy Lifton and all that stuff. Talking about how the movie came to be and stuff. He was talking with one, I think, as co-producers. Um, it's been a while since I've watched special features. And the second one had like a really cool like video. It was like a video promo that you'd send to video stores or whatever, and it was like 10 minutes long, just about orphan video, which they talk about too, and they didn't do too many movies. Uh, but that was the company that produced the Mirror Mirror one and two. So
Yeah,
both are worth a pickup. And good restorations and everything. I don't remember if it has a commentary.
man, I gotta. Oh shit. Oh, it's Shout. It says Shout Factory.
Mirror Mirror?
Yeah.
I
Hold
thought
on.
Dark Force Entertainment put that out, and they're like the same as Code Red, basically.
I don't know. It's saying Shout on this eBay thing or Macari. It's like $68. Fuck that shit. Like, no offense, but
Well,
I'm
look it
not.
up.
What was that?
I using my phone to record my. Look it up on Amazon.
Uh,
But I know I got the first one. I had it was like a 20% off sale at a store nearby. And I bought the first one there, and I had a slipcover and everything. The second one I bought off Amazon.
hmm. Let me see. It's product details. Yeah, you're right. Dark Force Entertainment.
But they're owned by Code Red, if I'm not mistaken, or because their website always has Code Red stuff. So I thought they
Mm,
were like,
I don't know. Dark Force Entertainment. That's who I have never heard of them, so I'd have to look into that. But that's cool. Like, yeah, I saw $30 for a mirror mirror, that might be more worth it. $68. No, 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 no.
no,
Sorry. I
definitely.
don't for one movie itself, like I do not pay that much. All right, well,
I,
sort of not true in a way. I'm spending $40 on one series of movies that, but it's the Heather and Puckley series from Chris Seaver. So,
uh,
and that's like
receiver.
I think three or four. I think it's three movies. So for $40, it's almost like 12, $13 a movie, which worth it to me because I've been wanting it for a long time, and I've been like super excited, and finally it's getting released, and so Chris knows I mean I've already pretty much put in a pre-order for it, to come out. Um, but yeah, it's that's the only thing I'd spend, but that's to give to like somebody who's like an indie person, It's not like I'm giving to like a big ass studio.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that about covers it, right? Like, is there anything else you wanted to mention about the movie?
That scene with Karen Black and the reason I'm afraid of those garbage disposals. You're
You're
gonna
afraid to
spoil it.
stick your hand down there now?
I I think the same thing happens and that's funny because I was just making a post about the Baroness and the lamp and Amityville 4, The Evil Escapes. And I think the same thing happens in the Amityville Evil Escapes, if I'm mistaken.
Is that one of the actual Amityville movies?
It's the one with the lamp. It's the made for TV fourth movie. But they
Because
both
I don't like that every other person in the world makes an Amityville movie
original series. That was part 4 of the original
of the actual series.
Um,
Um, before it's became, oh yeah, you can make a Amityville movie in your backyard.
pretty much.
Watch, somebody's gonna make a movie called Amityville Backyard.
It's coming. Don't worry. Amityville everything.
Yeah, Amityville, everything is so annoying. But
But of the garbage disposal,
Garbage Disposal was pretty cool.
I've always thought they were a little bit scary, and that's probably because I watched too many horror movies.
With
So,
with with that happening, right?
what?
With like you watch too many movies with that actually happening, somebody sticking their hand out and getting. But
And
that was a little over the top. I don't think that like all the blood would splatter like that, you know?
but still,
It was cool. It looked cool, you know?
yeah.
I
Well,
liked her death.
I think this movie has some creative depth, and when Charlene, like how she dies, is very
I mean,
creative.
she died with the pipes, like,
Yeah,
frying her or something, right? Pretty basically.
got a lot of creative stuff in it. I just think it's a great movie. Little long, would have cut it down 10 minutes probably, but overall, I love it.
Yeah. Eh, it was it was a little long. It was like an hour and 43 minutes. And it should have been cut down like 10 minutes maybe.
I agree. Hour 35. So
Yeah, an hour and 30, hour 35, something like that. But it's funny because Michael and I did Victor Crowley for Horror Film Lovers. That's an hour and 22 minutes, and that goes by like that, you know? And it's funny because like I was like going, wait, how did the time fly like that, But it's because you're in there, and everything. This movie's a little slow because it's just a little long, and I think if it cut it down. I don't know where it could have cut, but I mean, because I almost think like the good thing about this movie is like almost every scene kind of made sense for the next scene, you know?
a lot
And
of great. I think it's relatable. Still, people in high school, whatever, going to school, whatever. I love the characters, and yeah, like you said, every scene does make sense. Even though I think they could have probably found a way to cut a little bit out here and there.
the
Overall,
director's cut.
yeah,
Actually, usually the director's cut adds another 10 minutes.
yeah,
This is
but
what I
you
wanted to put into the movie that they wouldn't allow me to.
let's add footage to make people buy it, and that doesn't make the movie any better. Usually, movies should be shorter than they are. Usually, not always.
We'll make the unrated cut, mainly because we don't want to go back to the rating boards, but we'll say it's because we want to add 10 more minutes of footage that doesn't really need to be in the movie.
Exactly. I remember how many times I bought an unrated cut thinking, "Oh, more gore," and it was just like more talking scenes there were.
More
Oh,
cursing, which would make it unrated because if you put that in there, sometimes it'll be like, I think like Clerks almost got an NC-17.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it almost got an NC-17. And um because of the all the F words, man, there's a lot of F bombs and cursing and all that in that movie. It's a potty mouth movie.
I know South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. They had to like change a couple words to avoid an NC-17 or something.
It's called
Just
uncut though. Like, why did they? I mean, why did they even cut anything?
who knows? Well,
Is
that's
it
like America. I mean, they basically just put in that pooping and stuff in the sex scene just to fuck with the MPAA or
I just
MPA.
bought the Blu-ray of Orgasmo today.
Blu-ray?
Yeah,
I think the old DVD. I didn't
yeah,
know
they
it was
got
on.
a Blu-ray and it's got the theatrical and unrated version.
That's such a good fucking movie.
Yeah, and it's one of the few like that not a lot of people have seen, or whatever, like when you talk to some people, they're like, I've never heard, like they think it's a porno because,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
about the porno business.
I don't
Great
watch
movie.
them.
Was it yeah, so Trey Parker and Matt Stone are just, and I already bought Basketball on Blu-ray just recently, so
Right there, have the DVD. Love basketball. Underrated. Underrated as hell.
yeah, I absolutely everything that South Park guys did, Team America,
Cannibal music.
everything was just so funny. And I'm kind of sad because they really haven't done that in a while. They haven't made a, they need to just go make an indie film again, you know?
Like, and I love South Park. I love South Park, but just make more movies. Make a Book of Mormon movie. Have you ever seen the Book of Mormon musical? It's fucking amazing.
My parents did, I think, or they're going to, one of the two, like on Broadway, you know, or whatever. But I think they ended up not going. But they wanted to because they thought it sounded hilarious and
So good.
whatnot.
I'd love
Um,
to see them played in a movie. I'd love to see them do another movie. And as much as I love South Park, I'd be okay if they were to leave that behind and just make movies. But
just make movies, man. You know, Orgasmo, Cannibal the Musical,
everything
um,
they pulled,
everything they like, yeah, Cannibal the Musical. You would not think that a movie that's done as a student film would
yeah,
be literally that good. But every line is almost like as if they were already doing South Park, you know?
exactly. I mean, they're just geniuses. They are.
Yeah. I'm kind of sad because I don't think D and Bahar works with them anymore, and I love that dude. I think that guy's hilarious, you know,
Yeah.
but he's still funny in like everything else he does. Like I think he worked on Guillermo del Toro's uh remake movie about the circus people or whatever. You know what
I
I'm talking
haven't
about?
know the movie you mean, and I can't think of that. But
But yeah, he was in that. And so he got to work with Guillermo del Toro. And I'm like, you suck, lucky son of a bitch. You know, how awesome is that? It's just like him to me is like kind of like Sean Wayland. You see Sean Wayland pop up in like everything, and you're like, that's a roach from fucking People Under the Stairs, you know? That's awesome. Like, I'm just so happy that these guys are out there still making awesome shit, still being in awesome shit, you know?
that's
Um, but yeah, well, I would just tell everybody here, please watch Mirror Mirror any way you can. If you can buy it online, feel free to get it. If you have to watch it on Tubi, definitely check it out on Tubi because like it does feel like very it's not very cleaned up and it feels like a VHS movie.
which is how I watched it originally.
Yeah. So you watched it on VHS and you were probably like, probably had tracking problems. And I, the one thing I don't like is when people put that into their movies. I watched one indie flick. I'm not going to mention the name. I turned it off after like 2 minutes because I just could not stand the everything just all flicky and everything on purpose. I'm like, that just takes away my fun of it, you know? Because it doesn't look like a movie made in that time period. They just add that stuff to make it look, and it's
Yeah,
obnoxious. Um, the only
got
people who
it.
can do that are the grindhouse, like Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino. To me, like everybody else who does it, it just looks bad, you know? So, anywho, thank you guys for checking this out. Thank you, Maddie, for recommending this. I think we talked about it all, right? Yeah. So go watch it. Check out William Sanderson's little ponytail thingy that he's got going on his hair. And
Get into the Vietnam War and how he has flashbacks. Very awkwardly at dinner. Fucking hilarious.
says he has flashbacks. But I think that the mirror made him have flashbacks
Yeah.
specifically. He like the mirror set it off. Well, this mirror knows what you think. Remember the lady said, remember it can read your mind. So it knew. But I'm like, why did it like fuck with this guy? He wasn't even near the mirror.
And he was
Like
like Pat cemetery or whatever. Not Pet Cemetery, you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
he was the one taking care of the pets. You know, the dead pet, the dead dog. Poor little baby.
Funny.
Once
But yes,
again, you kill a dog in a movie, I hate you. No. And they do that because they know people love that and people are gonna be emotional about this, you know. Every time I see a pet, uh every time I see a pet in a movie, period, whether it be horror, whether it be comedy, whatever, I'm like, don't let him die. Don't let him die. You know. That's
did you
why I
watch?
like I had to stop watching that um that Mike White movie with Molly Shannon about the year of the dog. You ever seen that? It's literally about a woman whose dog dies and like the tragedy that like and it sort of makes her it sort of somehow it makes her stronger. I don't know. I don't know how because I watched up to the dog dying in maybe a few minutes. I was like, nope, this is too nope, I can't do it. Not ready yet to watch something that like yeah, nope. I'm like that scene in freaking Cop Out. Nope. Hell no. Nope. Best scene in that crappy movie. Anyway, so with that being said, thank you, Maddie, once again, and everybody else. Thank you guys for listening. Tune in next month where I think, if I'm correct, that'll be the last episode of the season. I want to say, is that what we're playing? So, yeah, you don't know. You're just going by what I do. So I think it's the last episode of the season, and then we'll be back in I think January for a brand new season. If you're up for it, Maddie. I don't know.
Always up for it.
Good. I'm glad that you're like into this show.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, you just love talking about all the movies that you randomly, like we
I
randomly
watch
watched in the 90s.
definitely.
I may find this. I got an idea of what I want to end it on, and I'll tell you in a second, but I can't tell anybody because it's gonna be a surprise. Because I may change my mind, but I have an idea. So, all right, everybody. Thank you guys for checking this out, and hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Sure.